Hey there guys, it's great to see you today. I thought we would go through some different websites today and talk a little bit about your website homepage. So I've got a couple of examples up. I'll just flip over to them super quickly here. And I think this is valuable because it's not always clear what you should have on your homepage and what's best to bring you sales. So I just thought it'd be a good way to run through a few different examples, which hopefully will help you determine what's the best homepage style for your business. So I've got a couple of examples up here today. We're kind of going to focus more on the dog side. But today this is Clean Run. They offer a number of different toys and products. So this would be a more typical product type setup, which can work well. I always think you should model what you see working on other sites. So this, I think, is a good example of what to do if you offer a more product-based business and are looking for something that's a little more catalog type search-wise. This is a good example. Of course, you can look to other websites, something like Amazon. And I would definitely suggest you look at sites that your customers are shopping at. So again, let's say you have a dog training business and you teach people how to teach their own hunting dogs. Go check out Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop or some sort of hunting store and see kind of what layout they use to give you a little bit of an idea of what might work well for your customers. But anyway, this is, I think, a good example. So we've got, your typical kind of banner up across the top and some different categories that people can click on. So I do like this for, like I said, product-based businesses. This can work well. It isn't what I would suggest if you have a more service-based business or one particular product that you want to highlight. So this is a good option, again, for more equipment and product type businesses. So I'm going to flip over here. If you have one product that you would like to sell, so this one's kind of a Fitbit for pets, and you can see they still have kind of your traditional banner up top that you can click on different things, but basically they have this one product. So some sort of Fitbit that you attach to your dog's collar, and you can see it's all pointing to that Fitbit. So again, this is a product-based website, and I think a good example of one, but there's really kind of one product that they're really focusing on. And I think typically with something like this, you will see better results, more sales, because you can really focus how you're writing your website content to really gear it towards sales. So I don't know how any of these convert. As far as sales go, I think this one's got a lot. I would probably write it a little bit more like a sales letter and test that, but I'm guessing this has worked well for them. So just to give you kind of another idea of what this can look like. Again, this one's got kind of a bunch of different sections, and sometimes if you really block out different sections, you'll kind of lose people. So they might read down to here, but then all of a sudden their eye sees another section and they kind of go, oh, forget about it, I'll move on. So typically we all love to see beautiful websites, and especially if it's our own, we want to look super fancy and all that, but sometimes it can be distracting and actually deter people from continuing to read. So again, this is just a good example of, again, a product-based business, but just focusing on one product. So I really like this model, if not this exact page setup, but it is a good way to sell and focus your customers' attention. And anytime you're running customers to, in this case, a home page, but any page sort of like this, I would say any of your sort of main website pages, your about us, your contact, your homepage, your services, anywhere that's just sort of general information about your business, it's never going to be, I think, as good at converting your potential customers as a dedicated sales page. But it is a nice way for them to go get a feel for your business, a feel about you, and again, gives you a way you can showcase your products. So what I would suggest on any homepage, like I said, this Clean Run one is a little bit different, again, because it's so product-based. But if you're running people to a homepage, this is the website you're putting on your content or your Facebook page, business cards, what have you. You really want to focus on one one product, one service, one thing. So often we try and cram as much as we possibly can because we want to tell people about all the things we do to make sure we can kind of pique everybody's interest. And really, that often ends up backfiring on you. It's better to focus on one thing, and if they want to then investigate other products or services you offer, they can then, come through some of this taskbar, toolbar type setup and learn more. But if you're dedicating and kind of running people into your homepage, you really want to focus on one thing. And so I would suggest you focus on whatever one thing you most want to sell. So that's going to be different for everybody. But if you're a horse trainer and you really want to focus on getting horses into your training program, then that's what I would talk about. You might also offer lessons and maybe tune-ups and fitting for sale and horse show. You might have horse show fees and services that you offer as well. But if your main thing is horse training, then talk about horse training only on your homepage. And if you're a dog trainer, maybe you have puppy classes and agility classes and things like that. But if your main focus for your business that you'd like to grow is, say, working with reactive dogs, that's all I would talk about on your homepage. It's okay to talk about the other stuff on other pages, but really focus your customers' attention on the thing you want them to focus on for your homepage. So I kind of thought these two sites were a good example of just some different strategies that you can use. This one's sort of quite similar, I would say, to the Fit Bark one we just looked at. This is a raw dog food company. So again, you've kind of got your main toolbar up here, and then some different information about their products where you can click and learn more. Again, I think my preference, if I was to test this, would be to write more of a sales letter where people can just read it all on one page rather than kind of fracturing off onto all these other pages and kind of getting lost. So that would be my suggestion. But as far as sort of what they've written here, they are just focusing on their dog food. They're not also talking about treats and everything else they do. It's all focused on their dog food. We've got some testimonials and things like that. So that's another good example. And then finally, I just thought we'd walk through this Roughwear one. Again, a little different. Roughwear, if you're not familiar, is sort of outdoor dog equipment and clothing and things like that. You can see they've got like this life jacket for sale. They also sell coats and boots and things like that, leashes, camping equipment, stuff like that. So what's neat about this site, and I don't know if you never know if it's working, you don't want to change it, but it seems odd to me when I scroll down their site. What they're really kind of selling here is the experience. So this is their main homepage, and they're not really talking about their products for the most part. They're obviously showcasing pictures with their products, but a lot of it is more about the lifestyle, telling stories about some of their customers and their dogs. So it's quite a different setup. I'm going to assume it has been effective for them. They definitely know what they're doing. But it's, again, so they're selling the lifestyle more so than the product. So an interesting take on it. I don't think it would be my suggestion to you if you were just starting. I would, again, run something more like a sales page explaining what your product is and how it can help your customer. But I thought it was an interesting take that they have really focused more on selling the lifestyle, selling the story, and that can be a very effective selling tool. So it might be worth trying if you're finding your other tactics aren't working. But it was interesting that they did that. And again, as much as there's quite a few breaks here, it also kind of flows nicely, and the lines in here kind of keep the eye moving. So it's an interesting tactic that they have taken here. To keep the reader's eye moving and in a different way of selling. So I just thought that might be handy to walk you through here. A few different examples. Again, for my own dog training equipment shop, I had something much more like Clean Run. It was product based, so it was just kind of broad categories that people could click on and go and further investigate the categories. I also had kind of a little bit of a blurb and I didn't talk about this, and I should have. I also had a little bit of a blurb kind of at the top of the page. So often with website building, they'll talk about above the fold. So on this video, you can see anything above the fold would be basically what's on the screen now. So if I was to scroll down, this would be below the fold on my computer. So everybody's monitor is a little bit different, but above the fold just means they don't have to scroll. So what do people see without scrolling on your website? And so I made sure on my dog training equipment website that I had a little blurb that just told them a little bit about us and our focus. So that can be a good way of kind of putting in a little bit of personality to your website as well on that homepage if you do have a more product-based business, and you know people are just going to kind of click through to the product categories quickly. So that can be a good way to incorporate it. But again, if you're more service-based, if you're a veterinarian or a farrier, or if you have a more narrow product line like that Fit Bark that we were showing earlier, it's only kind of one product, so that's all they're going to talk about on their main page. And that's really the tactic I would suggest you try first if you are having trouble converting on your website. So, you know, if you're a lesson program for a riding stable, then on your homepage, just talk about your lesson program. Don't talk about boarding and private lessons and everything else you do. Just talk about your 6-week lesson program that somebody brand new can sign up with. You know, if you're a veterinarian and your main goal with your website is to bring in new customers, then just talk about why somebody would benefit from coming to your clinic over somebody else's, what services you offer, what sets you apart, that sort of thing. So that's really what I would suggest you focus on for your homepage. It can be a little intimidating to know what to put on what page, where it goes. Often a lot of us small business owners, we don't have a ton of traffic going to our page, so it can be hard to know if the page is working or not without a lot of traffic. You can't split test and really determine the success of a page or not, you know, until you get thousands of people through your page on a kind of a consistent basis. But I hope this gives you a little bit of an idea of what you can do to start to test your website and play around with some different ideas. But generally speaking, on any web page, the more dedicated you can write what's on that page and speak to the right audience, so to speak, the more successful you will be at converting. So again, if it's a lesson stable and you want people to sign up for their first 6-week lesson program, that's what you want to talk about on your homepage. You don't want to get into everything else you do. That really kind of focuses the potential buyer's mind, and they can kind of concentrate on reading what you've put together, deciding if they kind of like your vibe and the services you offer, and go from there. So that's what I would suggest to you. That's kind of some broad pointers for how you can kind of frame your homepage of your website and how you can generate more conversions from your web traffic. So I hope you found that helpful, and I will talk to you guys next week.